An iSchool, otherwise known as an information school, has really formally existed for about a decade or so at this point. We are actually an international consortium, currently numbering more than 60 schools. The University of Pittsburgh was one of the founding 10 information schools, all North American at the time. About 1/3 of the information schools come from an academic tradition rooted in computer science and information technology. About 2/3 of them come from a tradition more in the library sciences, which is where the University of Pittsburgh came from. Our school actually goes back to the early 1900s, during the time of Andrew Carnegie, and the formation and his investment in public library infrastructure across the country led to a need for professionals to staff these libraries. The Carnegie Library here in Pittsburgh turned out to be one of the champions of children's librarianship, and that led to the training school for children's librarianship, which they ran. And then in the middle of the 20th century, that went to Carnegie Tech, and then later to the University of Pittsburgh. We found ourselves moving from kind of a tradition of print-based, multimedia-based materials, think your traditional library as you would expect it, into more of a technology-rich, information-enhanced arena. Now almost everything is digital, almost everything is electronic and networked, and so our school, as well as others around the country, were making that transition from developing librarians in relatively traditional settings to developing instead the techniques and tools that would enable them to operate in a networked environment. And so we saw this merger, that the library community moving more towards the technology, information technologists moving more into how people themselves interact around information. The information school at Pitt conducts actually a very wide range of research. Our school has actually been one of the long-term pioneers in developing the skills of information management really centered around librarianship back to the early 1900s. We now have faculty who are more working in the psychology area, trying to understand how children reason, how they develop, and how that influences then how they use resources, now largely electronic, largely digital. But that trajectory has really been part of our school from the earliest days of the 20th century until today, and I think it will continue to be a signature characteristic. We have actually for years, probably for the past 40, 50 years or so, been fairly renowned for our work in data visualization. So that whole area of understanding very large, multi-dimensional, complex information spaces is one in which we have easily half a dozen faculty who do really dramatic pioneering work. We're also on the leading edge of research in cybersecurity. In 2003, we started a program we called SIS. That program has been one of the premier programs in educating security specialists in this nation ever since. These programs are certified by the National Security Agency and by the Department of Homeland Security. 2 years after we launched that program, we had all 5 of the national security certifications in place for those. And since that time, we've been among the very first that have been certified for security research as well as education. Our school has also been a leader in developing new ways of thinking about the World Wide Web and in providing services on the World Wide Web. It's actually something our faculty have worked on, read about, developed, and written on for easily the past 15, 20 years or so in varying forms. Our students have a range of interests and expertise. A good part of them come with a humanities background, but an equally good part of them come with very, very strong roots in technology and the sciences. So we kind of do the obvious. We try to take those that come from the humanities and we bring up the skill set and their technology understanding. We take those that come strong with the math and science technology background. We try to enhance that, at the same time broaden their understanding towards some of the other issues that confront society. A student should come to the information school at Pitt for a number of reasons, but they all center around one core idea, and that is we focus on people's use of technology to manage information.